Hey everyone, so welcome back. So now comes the exciting part. Okay, so the exciting part is covering all the functionality or the workflow which this MCP server is capable of doing it. Okay, so the first workflow which I'm going to cover is converting all your deployment to rollout and managing the active deployment once the conversion has happened via rollout. So for this, I have already onboarded one Hello World application, okay, to Argo CD, okay. So if you haven't or if you want to onboard any application via Argo CD, then I would highly recommend to go to TalkOps MCP suite and onboard any application via Argo CD MCP server, okay. So via Argo CD MCP server, I have onboarded this Hello World application, and I will pin down the information or the chart on this video, okay. The repository is this, and this is the chart, Helm chart, where this Argo CD application has been onboarded. So right now, one pod is running. There is service account and deployment as part of this Hello World application, and the status is healthy, okay. So let's convert this deployment to rollout to manage or configure canary based deployment. So we'll again go to the documents and we'll follow the documents, okay. So this is how one should get started. So now my MCP server is up and running. It has been exposed to this port. So for this MCP client, I will be using cursor, okay. So I will go to settings and on tools and MCP source, okay. So previously I have already configured this MCP client to talk to MCP server. So there are 13 tools, 6 prompts and 6 resources, which is showing in active state, right? So let me refresh this connection. Yeah, perfect. So now we can see from the logs from the server that the connection has been initialized, okay, perfect. Coming back to this talk, the onboarding of deployment to rollout. So the workflow is going to be like this. So we validate if the corresponding deployment is ready or not, okay. If it is not ready, then it will give you information why it is not ready and you have to fix it. If it is ready, then there is corresponding tools you have to trigger, and we will be going to trigger individually the tools, okay, giving the required information. Once the conversion is done, then we'll update ingress to point to this rollout service so that we can see on the browser. We'll also set up some kind of intelligence, okay, via this tool Argo configure analysis template, so that while promoting versions, it should automatically do some kind of assessment, okay. It will trigger some query on the Prometheus and check whether the 5x's, the latency is well within the mark, okay. Once it will verify everything, then it will promote it. So this is kind of an intelligence layer on top of the rollout. During the course, if the agents needs to get the information regarding that particular rollout, then it can also verify by going to this resource, okay, and we will see all this in actions, okay. So let's get started then. So first workflow is, so if you look at this workflow diagram, so the first tool call is to validate whether the given deployment is ready or not, right? So we'll simply say now it has detected. To verify this activity, I have to trigger this tool, okay. So the deployment name is hello world, namespace is this. Now it is saying that migration readiness is ready, okay, and out of 100 it has given 75 as score, okay. And this is the deployment checks it has checked, okay, and this is the warning which it has given, okay. So it says only one replica is there, but actually to get started, at least we need 2 plus recommended one, right? and there is no resource limit or HPA is not enabled. So at least let's increase the replica count. Okay, so again we'll go to Argo CD. On the actual application, we'll increase the replica count, right? So right now it is 1. Let's increase the count to 5 and we'll save. So now 5 pods is up and running and is now being managed by this Argo CD application. Hello world. Okay, let's re-verify that this deployment is ready or not. So again we will trigger the same tool call. Now it has identified, and now see the score has been increased. Okay, because of this warning, the score has not given 100 out of 100. Okay, but surely we have seen some improvement, right? Okay, so what's next? So we'll go again the documents. So the next is to convert this deployment to rollout. Okay, and the prompt is this one: convert the hello world deployment in a default canary based. So even we can convert it to blue green, but for this demo let's stick to canary based. Okay, and let's see. So it has triggered this convert deployment to rollout tool by passing this information, and from the tool response it has got this response that it has been converted. Okay, the rollout has been created, the strategy is canary, and because the strategy is canary, so it has created these 2 services by default. Okay, and by default the canary steps are, so let's suppose you want to promote some new version, then at first 5% traffic, then it will pause for human intervention. Then if you will again promote this release, then at 10% it will again pause, then 25%, at 50%, then 100%. So at every pause you have to promote it manually. Okay, and you can override this canary steps, and we will see this on the second workflow. So if we'll go to rollout dashboard. Okay, so this is the dashboard. So now it says the version is 1.16.0 and 5 pods are running. Okay, and these are the canary steps, right? And we can also check on the Argo CD. So if you will refresh it, then you will see that now this rollout is there. Okay, and the total replica set which this rollout is managing is 5, right? 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it's already the deployment has already been converted to rollout. Now let's expose this rollout, okay, from ingress, so that we should start seeing from the dashboard or website. Okay, so for this it has already created 2 services, right? Let's say the service one. So to manage canary deployment, it has created a canary service, and this is the stable one. Traffic will be served by this service, but while the rollout is happening, then on the new version, this is the one which is going to serve the traffic. Okay, so at a given time there will be 2 services to configure canary based deployment. Okay, so let me create one ingress. For this I will be using traffic, okay, as an ingress controller. Okay, so I have already created one manifest file for weighted traffic. Okay, so it is doing nothing, but it is getting a traffic service which says So out of 100%, so this stable service will receive 100% of it, and 0% right now, the 0% will be received by this canary. Okay, and behind the scene, this ingress route is hello world canary.example.com. So this is the host which we will browse it from the browser. Okay, and this is the service which it has binded. Correct. So let me apply this one. We'll go to reference docs, kubectl apply -f hello world weighted hello world traffic weighted canary.yaml. Correct. So now it has created two services. So it has created an ingress route and traffic service, and we can validate by going to the traffic dashboard, right? See, so it says it's a host based route it has created. So if any request coming to this host, it will get forwarded to this service. Under this service, the 100% traffic will be received by this service, default hello world stable, and 0% will be received by this. Okay, perfect. And let us bind this route to the newly created canary service, right? So that we can see this in action while promoting some versions. Okay, so this was the traffic service, right? Yeah. Can you bind this traffic service to this rollout? So now it has updated this rollout to use this traffic service as an ingress. Okay, we can verify that the ingress is working or not. Okay, on browser we'll go to hello world canary.example.com, and the port is kubectl traffic port, right? So this traffic is exposed as a node port, and 80 behind the scene it is binded with 32594. 32594, right? See, so now this application which has been converted to rollout, so the rollout is now serving this traffic. Welcome to Nginx. Correct. Perfect. Now this hello world and this rollout is there. So deployment and rollout. So let's do migration so that this now all the deployments will be managed by this rollout. Okay, so we have already covered or converted the deployment. Now comes the migration part. Okay, so this is step 3, which is kind of optional, we have already done. Okay, analysis we will cover after the rollout we have completed, or after the migration we have completed successfully. Okay, so there is this section known as workload reference migration. Okay, so we'll go to this documents. So to scale down we have certain tools, right, which is going to help you. So let's trigger this one, update scale down. All we have to do is so we'll ask the agent to generate a scale down manifest file for this deployment, so that we can directly commit to GitHub, so that the deployment is now will be managed by this rollout. Okay, so we'll copy this manifest file and we'll directly update this deployment. In actual scenario, you have to commit on GitHub, but for the sake of this demo, I'm going to update directly. Okay. And we'll save it. See, so now the deployment is there, but now the pod is getting managed by replica set, which is eventually is part of this rollout, right? And if we'll go to this site, the website is still running, right? So there is no downtime happened during this operation, right? And if you want explicitly mention that Argo CRD should avoid tracking this rollout, then there is this tool which is going to help you. Okay, so this is Argo CRD ignore differences workflow. Okay, so if we'll enter this prompt, what it is saying, I want to generate the ignore differences for this hello world application which we have just converted in default namespace. Okay, so that the Argo CRDs should start tracking it. Okay, so by looking at all the metadata, so it has triggered this tool call, and it says add this ignore differences section under the spec of your current Argo CRD application and sync it. Okay, if you look at now and the sync status, so if you'll even sync it, so now through deployment no replica set is going to get provisioned. Okay, so now all the pods is getting managed via this rollout. Okay, so this is how we will be doing migration from the tool set, okay, without having any downtime. This onboarding of existing deployment or rollout, so this is one workflow which we have just seen, right?